Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Northern Triangle countries, we can't do that. We have to keep you. That's that catch and release. And that's why they're coming, because they know you grab a kid or you come here as a kid by yourself. That's your passport. That's your entry into the United States. And once you get here, no consequences are applied, even if you have a final order by a judge. This has got to change.
Mark Morgan right there, acting ICE director. Yeah, it's got to change, and it's not going to change. It's not going to change. And that kid thing is we're seeing the battle that's going on right now in immigration. And right now, apparently today, the Dems are fighting amongst each other about some sort of solution, getting stuff done. White House, as usual, is blaming the other side. The other side's blaming the other side. All the while, remember this. The Dems don't want this to go anywhere because this is a great issue. Kids in cages. Never mind that it happened also on Obama watch, but now Trump is the man. Kids in cages, separation of families. These people are only here for asylum. They're being persecuted, and they'll show up to court. They swear they will.
So the numbers overall show that we're around 40 to 60% of people that don't even show up for their asylum hearings. And so, but when you start breaking that down to other demographics, like, for example, the expedited docket, where we worked with Department of Justice to actually put families ahead of the line to absolutely expedite that process for them, in that category, over 90% didn't show up. A lot of time, energy, effort, and resources went into that. 90% didn't show up. And why? They know they don't have to, because it doesn't matter, because there's no consequences that are applied.
No consequences. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. All of this can be fixed. But the political issue is too big to pass up. The political issue is too huge to let go. The political issue is too massive in terms of not only making it an issue and keeping it in front and center, making yourself relevant, keeping control of power, but also raising dollar bills, which is mightily and vitally important. We need to do something. Let's be 100% honest, right? How about this? You guys sort out what you need to sort out. Let's fix the problem, at least temporarily, with the kids and the things that are going on there. And you guys go over and fight about the rest of the stuff. Okay? You guys go and do that. You do that. Here's something interesting. I was talking about this the other day. So my son Jack is here. He's been here with me for the last couple of weeks. We're hanging out, summertime, having fun. If I let Jack go to the park by himself across the street, there's a good chance CPS is going to come take my damn kid away. You send the kid here to this country on an arduous, crazy-ass journey by themselves, you'll have a chance to be reunited. Is that insane? It's nuts. It's crazy. I'm over it. But we need to take care of this situation. We need to get the kids in a better situation, right? And then we need to sit down and talk seriously about doing stuff. The problem is nobody's serious about a solution because the problem, it's just too great to pass up.
I said to the members, we have to have a country where every child knows that they are in their parents' arms, literally or figuratively. We are the arms of these children in terms of this appropriation is concerned. We want them to feel that comfort.
Yeah, who wouldn't, right? I want these kids to be taken care of. Doesn't matter how they got here or why they're here. They're here. Let's sort this out. Let's be adults about it. Let's stop playing politics on both sides of it, right? You take a picture because you want to hurt the president. You don't want to deal with the actual problem itself, which is what we love to do in this country. We don't want to deal with the problem. We don't want to find a solution and go to the root cause of this problem so we can find a solution for the long term. There's great benefits. No, because that's not what we're about. We're about being reactionary and then profiting both politically and fiscally off issues. And it's frustrating as hell. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Last night, celebrities took to the airwaves to read the Mueller Report.
This is terrible, Jeff. It's all because you recused Attorney General is supposed to be the most important appointment. Kennedy appointed his brother. Obama appointed Holder. I appointed you, and you recused yourself. You left me on an island. I can't do anything.
That was John Lithgow. Oh, don't worry, we've got him. Also throughout the day, I will be reading some of the Mueller Report as other celebrities who were not invited. Like, say, for instance, Mickey Mouse. The presidential campaign of Donald J. Trump, Trump campaign, showed interest in WikiLeaks. Release of documents and welcome potential to damage candidate Clinton. Beginning in June 2016, harm or ongoing matter forecast to senior campaign officials that WikiLeaks would release information to damage the candidate Clinton. Oh, you know what they need? Mr. Toodles. Dumbasses. How obsessed are they? He's living rent-free in their head, right? And, like, he's the biggest troll. Can we all admit that he's, like, the biggest troll in the world? Just lives to troll. And they get sucked into it, and it just makes me laugh. He even talks, he tweeted something out yesterday about, like, Trump 2020, 2024, 2028, 2032, and they just freaked out. Oh, my God. And you just sit there and you laugh. You just laugh. It's like, whoa, he's trollerific. It is so true. He is absolutely trollerific. And they buy into it. They do. I find it to be hilarious. And people say, have you listened to Reddit? No, I've listened to it. I actually downloaded it because you can get it. And I've listened to it. And I'm not going to lie to you. There's a few nights that I'm tired and it puts me to sleep. You know, maybe. Now, John Lithgow, to his credit, acted the hell out of that. It wasn't just a reading. He went straight into it. He went he just immersed himself in the part and just went right into it. You got to love that. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. So today marks the 10-year anniversary of a death. Actually, 3 deaths. 3. And by the way, if you happen to die on this day 10 years ago and you were a celebrity, unless you were a single celebrity, nobody else cared. But I tweeted out a little while ago something about a celebrity that did die 10 years ago today, who happened to die on the same day as the king of pop and molestation. And that was a lady who, quite frankly, in my eyes, was an angel.
Farrah Fawcett died after a bout with cancer on June 25th, 2009.
Same day as Michael Jackson. By the way, producer Phil, do you know who was the third celebrity, I believe, who died on this day?
I do not.
I believe, and this is just me, I believe that would be the one and only, was it Ed McMahon? Man, it's got to suck. Right? Like totally being overshadowed by the king of pop. And I tweeted out about it's funny, I turned to one of the people I'm working with here, and I tweeted out something about Michael Jackson and, you know, the boys feel safer than they've ever safe before. And I said, it'll be at least 30 minutes before somebody goes, what about the Catholic Church? And then they start defending Michael Jackson. Within 30 minutes, what about the Catholic Church? And I'm like, okay, just get over it. Can't understand satire. But I tweeted out about something about, look, Farrah Fawcett.
Once upon a time, there were 3 little girls who went to the police academy. And they were each assigned very hazardous duties. But I took them away from all that, and now they work for me. My name is Charlie.
Oh, God. Memories! So that takes me back. So I tweeted out something about Farrah Fawcett. And, you know, look, every cisgendered, for those younger kids, every young, virile, toxic masculinity, hormones coursing through your veins, uncontrollably, 12, 13, 14-year-old boys had what on their wall? Had a poster of Farrah Fawcett. And I tweeted out about something. And, of course, the woke world has attacked me in the third wave of feminism and the whole 9 yards, coming after me, going after me, blah, 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 blah. How dare I on this day? And, you know, and I said, look, let me tell you something. She used the hell out of her sexiness. It's what made her famous. right? All of these things. She was I thought she was my favorite angel, right? She used it. It's her sexiness. That's what it was, right? It was Charlie's angels. It wasn't Charlie's fat character actresses. Chad. Stop ruining my childhood because you want to be woke in today's world. I don't care if you're woke in today's world. Leave my childhood alone. Yes, she was sexy. Daisy Duke was sexy. We enjoyed it. We loved it as kids. Stop ruining our childhood and our memories. It sucked that she died at 62. It sucks that she died on the day that Michael Jackson died. It did. It's awful. But yeah, you know what? Farrah Fawcett used her sexiness. I didn't force her to put a poster on the damn wall. I didn't do that. I did it because she sold me a poster because she's like, look at me, I'm on a poster. Look how sexy I am. Get over yourselves. Stop ruining our childhood. Producer Phil, did you ever, for once in your life, had anybody ever that was a poster on your wall?
Yes, I have.
There you go. Daisy Duke, there was Tawny Katane. Come on, guys, get over it. They're selling you this. Some 13-year-old boy in the middle of the country's not going, Farrah, if you don't do this, I'm going to shoot you. No, she did it because she's like, look, I'm beautiful. This is what got me here. Stop it. This is what got me here. This is what got me to this position. Right? If she didn't want to be in this position, she could have eaten ridiculous, put on hundreds of pounds, and then tried to act her way into stardom. Nope. She's like, look, I'm beautiful. I'm going to run with it. And guys are like, sounds good to me. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Just get over your damn selves and stop ruining our childhood. That's the thing that drives me crazy, is you want to ruin our childhood. You want to go back in our time and tell us how we should have thought as 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old little boys. Stop it. Get over yourselves. You're sexy. That's what you played up on, and you made millions. And when you were taking the paycheck, you didn't bitch about it then. Hey, speaking of sexy, she didn't need these, but maybe you do. Candid. Yeah. Custom-created clear aligners that are going to help your $1 million smile from the $3 smile you have right now. Whiter, brighter, straighter teeth in just about 6 months. Candid has orthodontists who are licensed in your state. They're going to create a treatment plan for you. Even a 3D preview is going to be sent to you to show you what your teeth look like now and what they're going to look like. And you never have to go to an orthodontist office ever. All from the comfort of your home. It's incredible. And here's this. It's 65% less than braces. So not only are you going to save thousands of dollars, you're going to have straighter, brighter teeth in an average of just 6 months. And right now, for my listeners, you're going to get $75 off. Go to candidco.com/Benson. That's candidco.com/Benson. candidco.com/Benson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Feel free to punk this punk rocker any time of the day or night. Reach Chad on Twitter at Chad Benson Show and on Instagram at Chad Benson Show. And oh yeah, the Chad Benson Show on Facebook too. Punk that.
After their divorce hearing earlier this month, Courtney Irby says her estranged husband Joe tried to kill her by ramming his car into hers. He went to jail for a day, and while he was gone, believing there would be more violence, Courtney went into Joe's apartment, rounded up his firearms, and took them to the Lakeland Police Department.
And instead of embracing and supporting her, she was arrested.
Florida State Representative Anna Escamani says that's an outrage. Courtney Irby spent 6 days in jail. She's now free on bond. Escamani is now asking the state attorney to drop all charges.
So there's the weird situation, right? And of course, it's got to be in Florida because everything weird happens in Florida or Arizona, which is the Florida of the West. So you got a woman who's terrified that her soon-to-be ex or whatever is going to go on a rampage and potentially get her, showing that he is violent. And the police tell her after she goes in and gets his stuff, hey, you're going to jail because you broke into somebody's house. which is right. And this is that weird thing about the domestic, and this is a one-off thing. Let's be real. But what do we do in a situation like this? It's a hard thing because you don't want to just jump to conclusions and say, look, we got to come take away all your guns because this person thinks you're going to do something. If you've shown a perpetuant to be violent and have made threats, then I think absolutely they have the opportunity to come in until this is settled. And we have seen, let's be real. I mean, was it last year? We have seen what happens in relationships and the violence from Seal Beach, California several years ago to it was the court shooting, I think it was last year. It is some people let this stuff stew and it gets ugly and it's awful. But you also can't break into somebody's house. I have a feeling they'll do what's right in Florida and they'll throw this out. But, this is not a situation where you could just go, oh, this person's bad and this person's right, this, that, and the other. And as a country that loves freedom, we can't just jump to the conclusion that everybody is a bad human being and that their gun needs to be taken away because of a domestic dispute. Because as we all know, people are, they're prone to, especially in domestic disputes, to maybe not always be truthful, to maybe overdo it a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Very interesting. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. People are tweeting in and texting in about my Farrah Fawcett. You got to see some of the stuff that was sent to me. Just insane. Stop ruining my childhood and my memories because you're woke in your modern world. I'm not going to crap all over yours. They're yours. Okay? Get over it. Sweet mama jamma. People are insane. You don't understand. He's just there for sexual pleasure. Really? I did not. It was just a poster on my wall. Wait till you hear what I thought about Ed McMahon, who also died on this day 10 years ago. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The Border Patrol facilities are notoriously horrendous places. They have never been suitable for children. Everyone has always agreed that there should be no children in these facilities. And so basically the child is processed at these facilities just for a few hours, and then they're put into custody of the Office of Refugee Resettlement, where they can be for up to 20 days as that office tries to reunite these children with their families. However, what we saw with this population is not only were children in this facility, but that children were being kept there for 3 weeks or longer.
Yeah. And we got to do something. We have to do something. I talked to Congressman David Schweikert earlier. We were discussing this whole situation and what a nightmare this is and how awful and bipartisan and ridiculous this has become. And one of the things that he and I were discussing is the fact that this thing has become so tribal. This thing has become so divisive. And the games that are being played politically, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, it is nasty. We need to take care of the kids. And I said a clean bill is the way to do it. He's like, yeah, totally. Because here's the thing that you're not hearing. Right? So they get something bipartisan through the Senate, back up to the House it goes, and they start debating the whole thing. And then they put in a bunch of other things. And the Republicans are no. They want to limit what ICE can do. They want to make sure that you can't get, that you can't work with ICE and that you can't deport criminals. They want to put things back in there that ridiculous. It should just be clean when it comes to taking care of these kids, right? But you sit back here and you think to yourself, we talked about it earlier, what Mark Morgan said, right? Here's a guy that's there doing his job in World of ICE, and he talks about the fact that a lot of people are also looking at these kids as their passport to this country. We must do something. We do. But what is it that we're going to be able to do to get both sides to come together and say, look, you guys want to piss and moan about a wall and, tariffs over Mexico and whether or not ICE should be allowed to, come into jails and take out bad people who've done bad things, and you want to play politics in that world, knock yourself out. As far as the kids go, this is what needs to have happen. And one of the things, though, that, that we should be looking at is, like, if you're going to send your child here on a treacherous journey with nobody in hopes that they get here and that maybe you're reunited later, that's something I think we need to think about. If you're using them as a lost leader, even though you may think it's better for them, I think that's a bunch of crap. My God, we can't even let our kids go across the street. Across the street. They got to wear a badge and say, I'm part of the free-range parent patrol. It's okay that I'm 11 and going down a slide by myself. It's nuts. It is. But we need to do something. I think we need to do something. Somebody just texted in and said, hey, what about, the zero tolerance as far as moving some of these things back? I thought that zero tolerance, what Trump did, was absolutely asinine. I understand the desperation and wanting to get something done. I get that. But no. But family separation also happened under Obama and had nothing to do with whether or not he wanted to or didn't want to. It had to do with the law. You can only hold kids for 72 hours. After that, they got to go somewhere else. So it happened. I think it happened under Bush as well. That was the Fuentes case and the battle that goes on with that. It's frustrating. It is. But we can do better. From the humanitarian side, looking at children, we need to do better. It's that simple. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Men, especially you crackers. That's me. You're awful.
Actress Olivia Munn stopped by The View on Monday and used her time on the show to speak out about the Me Too movement and about her experience navigating life as an Asian American woman.
For the first time, there is an entire group of people, usually white men, who have to be aware of their existence. If you ask any minority, LGBTQ member or woman how often we're aware of our existence, it's like every day.
Every day. Phil, are you aware you exist? I'm just curious, producer Phil.
Just this morning.
Are you aware of your existence? Here's my issue, right? Because white men are evil. We all know that. I mean, we are the bane of every human being's existence, and eventually we will be gone from the world, and then the other men of color will eventually also be gone, and then you can have that whatever it is that you want. I don't know at this point in time. Just like the argument I had a little while ago about the whole Farrah Fawcett thing. I don't need to be that woke, right? We're hitting the snooze button. We're enjoying our lives. That's it, right? Right? There's a reason that I like working by myself. There's a reason that, quite frankly, I don't have any women that work with me. There's a reason that I like having my studio on my own, doing my own thing. There's a reason for that. Right? I just like to do my thing. I tweeted out something about Farrah Fawcett as if every young, cisgendered, hetero male in the 70s and 80s didn't find her attractive, and somehow I'm a bad SOB? Get over yourself again. We're not the enemy. That's the problem with modern third wave super feminism that goes on is, feminism, they fought for, they wanted equality. And men suck. Let's be real. Chauvinistic, all this. Yeah, absolutely. Totally. 110%. Right? But we got woke and we've got more mature and things have gotten so much better. And this bizarre, I live in privilege, yet I'm somehow oppressed. So I'm going to tell you all of the things that I'm oppressed about. Slow your roll, Olivia Munn. Slow your roll.
When I go into a meeting, whenever I'm talking, I have to think of like 3 different ways to say something before I say it, or how they're going to, how they're going to accept this or take this, or they're going to be pissed off. And now you have these men who are expressing these concerns like, I'm not allowed to say this. I can't compliment. I'm like, well, the rest of us have been doing this forever. Like,
no, The difference is guys don't go in there and overthink a thing. Sometimes they say stuff. The problem is you wonder why men aren't mentoring young women in the workplace, which is probably, you go and ask why men who've climbed to the top, what they've had in their careers, and 99 times out of 100, they'll tell you, I had a great mentor. I had somebody that showed me the way. All of the other stuff is great, but you need a mentor. Men don't want to do that. Men don't want to travel with women anymore. They don't feel uncomfortable in work situations. And it has zero to do with whether or not they think they're going to do something. It is all to do in a world of it's not what's said. It's not even if it's said to you. Could be talking to somebody else. It's how you take things. And you taking something completely different, a la this woman who said all these horrible things that I supposedly thought about Farrah Fawcett, which just made me laugh, which was stupid. It's how you perceive it. And I can't live in a world where you get to decide how you want to perceive something, talk about moving the goalposts whenever you want, see retro rage. I think much like with race and much like with the whole gender battle that's going on, women and people of color walk around and act as if all day long, all white men think about is how can we destroy females and people of color? How can we do that? Let me tell you what I thought about today. I thought about, I don't know if Jack's going to eat his entire salad. Should I have bought him Skittles? Right? That was one of the things I thought about. Oh, my God. Really? Yeah. The other thing I thought about is, did I have too much iced tea today? Little things like that. It's so amazing. You're so worried about how the world perceives you, yet you want the world to perceive you in a certain way. And you want to make sure that your identity and your gender and what you identify as and all of this stuff. Stop it. Let's get on with it. Not everybody's bad. Not everybody's evil. Not everybody's out to get you.
She also revealed what it's like to negotiate her salary in an industry where the pay disparity between men and women has gotten a lot of attention in recent months.
When I'm negotiating my contracts, I know that there is somebody in the business affairs for the studio, whoever, and it's usually a man talking to another man. And it's just this tendency to just give men more money every single time. It's the people at the top who just don't care enough.
Look, I'm not going to lie. You know what? But you're in there negotiating. First of all, let's be real. Who's negotiating, right? I'm going to say this. I'm fortunate enough in my business, and there's very few of us, where I don't negotiate. I have somebody else that does that for me. And by the way, I'll let you guys know, my agent's a woman. And they go and negotiate. They do their thing. I don't want to be a part of it at all. They'll come back and say, I want this, this, and this, and then you can argue all day long. But it's just, it's like the fight that's going on right now with the U.S. women's national soccer team and the men's national team. And there's pay disparity in the whole 9 yards. Look, and then talking about it in sports in general. The women's national team's brought in just about as much money over the last 3 years as the men's national team. So I think it should be absolutely the exact same. Now, granted, they've played more games than the men. It's much different. In that situation, the women's national team's together far more often than the men's national team is. And, 90 times out of 100, unless it's a big game, the big guys in Europe don't even come over here to play. But I think they should pay them equally. Now, when it comes to prize money, like the difference between the men's World Cup and the female World Cup, well, that has nothing to do with our soccer world. Zero to do with that. It has all to do with the people in the governing body that runs. And, hey, the reality is you qualify for the men's World Cup, and you're going to make far more money than the winners of the women's World Cup. That's just the reality of it. Because it's like 45 times the amount of revenue that comes in. It is what it is. I have zero problems when it's equal. You pay it. Hey, pay the women more if you want to. But then when it comes to the prize money side of things, that's just the way it is. And let's be real, the U.S. men ain't winning anything soon anyway. It's just crazy, but we're so just hyper-focused on all of this stuff. Life is what it is. Stop worrying about what other people think. Do your own thing. Olivia Munn, you're sitting there telling us how horrible white men are. Why does it have to be white men? Well, because white men rule the world. It's like, get over it. It's just, good God. I don't get it. I do. I mean, at some point in time, I just sit there and laugh, because I'm raising a little white man. What world are we giving him? Hey, Jack, I just want to tell you, everything from now on out is your fault. So be prepared. Ridiculous. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Texter wrote in and said, I didn't hear you talk about Trump zero tolerance. Yeah, zero tolerance is that whole policy was a giant joke. But understand the frustration when it comes to immigration for just a second. There's a frustration there when it comes to immigration. And we aren't doing our part to secure our borders in the way that they should be. And we're doing a complete disservice to these young kids that are coming here. Scared, lost, confused. We got to do better. But stop the politicking and just do a clean bill and get this taken care of. Because remember, the funding comes from Health and Human Services for this stuff. And they're running out of money in the next couple weeks. And this was the big deal that happened. Remember when we had, oh, my God, government's not working anymore. And they're, oh, no. Yeah, this is what this was about. Think about this. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I work in an amazing organization, and that organization called Wounded Paw. Now, the Wounded Paw Project is so unique. I haven't seen anything out there like this. When they came to me and started talking to me about it, they made it abundantly clear why they do what they do. 20 veterans today commit suicide, and the person who's put this organization together, who runs this organization, was a veteran, was injured, struggled in depression in so many ways, and it was a dog and a relationship with a dog that changed everything for him. And they need your help. What they do is they go into kill facilities. They find animals, dogs, who are going to be essentially put down. They train them as service dogs, then get them with veterans, first responders, and their family. It's amazing. But they need your help. RV, truck, car, boat, whatever you have. They don't care if it doesn't even run. They'll come get it. You're going to get an amazing tax-deductible write-off, and you're going to save a paw to save a life. Check them out for yourself. WoundedPawProject.org, WoundedPawProject.org, or call 844-678-4PAW. That's 844-678-4729. And they also take cash. Cash is always nice as well. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
Our first look at Jussie Smollett the night he claimed he was assaulted. Police body cam video capturing Smollett still wearing the noose he says his attackers put around his neck.
Do you want to take it off or anything? Yeah, I do. I just want to see. There's a bleach on me. Bleach on me.
The video, part of 69 hours of surveillance and other images made public by the Chicago Police Department, authorities blurring faces.
Yeah, he still faces potentially the chances of being charged again. People are like, well, it's double jeopardy. It's not double jeopardy because he was never tried in this situation. So there's no double jeopardy because they were dropped immediately. So the chances, now they're looking into Kim Fox and everybody else and how this whole thing went. They also said that in the subsequent hours and days after the incident, he Googled himself more than 50 times. Oh, that's not very good. Yeah, that's not. No, it's not. I don't think this is. Yeah, I think we all can agree, right? You know, it has nothing to do with race and all to do with what the hell were you thinking? That's it. So what the hell were you thinking? That to me is, I just want to know what your mindset was in that moment that you thought this was going to benefit you and that nobody was going to get caught and that nobody at all was going to catch on to your little plan. I'm curious. I really am.
The world has changed.
We're getting some more details about what we'll see in that Avengers Endgame re-release this weekend. Marvel says fans will see a video intro by directors Joe and Anthony Russo, an unfinished deleted scene from the film, and a special sneak peek of the upcoming Spider-Man Far From Home. Also in select theaters, fans will get a special poster that's in theaters Friday.
Yeah, so the Avengers is coming re-released this week with a couple little things. I'm telling you, I mean, it's my big idea, and they could have used it, which I would have shot 2 endings and then re-released ending number 2 and then decided what people wanted afterwards, because people go see that damn thing. And they're doing this because they're close to being the number 1 movie of all time. So they're going to roll this bad dog out one more time, see if they can get over the hump. We'll see. We shall see. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Love hearing from you. And you can also check us out on Google. Now go to thechadshow.com. We have a podcast there. We do. It's right there. You can grab it for free. Doesn't cost you a penny. Nothing at all. And I don't care if you're a Democrat, independent, you're apolitical, non-political, you identify as not political but kind of political because you're political fluid. You can also listen to the podcast. 'Tis the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
So why do you say Nikki Haley on the ticket?
Well, because with Nikki Haley on the ticket with Trump, it's an unbeatable ticket. I think Vice President Pence served the president very well in 2016. And as vice president, I have nothing against him. I think he was a loyal vice president and a very capable man. But I think the president's reelection will hinge to a large extent on whether he can win over those independent and Republican suburban women. And I think with Nikki Haley on the ticket, it's an unbeatable.
Yeah. Now, I would have went with Nikki Sixx, but I don't think, he wants to do it. So Nikki Haley would be awesome. I've been saying that. I honestly thought that Nikki Haley was going to be his running mate during the last one. Mike Pence, he's served his purpose, right? He got the Christian right for you. He served his purpose. What is he doing for you now? I mean, he's kind of... yeah, it's time to look elsewhere. And here's the thing about Trump, and this is something that the Democrats, who are all going to step on stage over the next 2 days and battle it out, this is something that you need to think about. Trump is one of those people that this is the kind of move that he would make. And that's Andrew Stein. This is a guy who's a Democrat, a lifelong Democrat, right, who wrote an op-ed piece in the Wall Street Journal saying Nikki Haley's what he needs to do next. And that would be a tough ticket. I mean, it's going to be tough anyways because he's got a base that's loyal. And you know what? They're showing up, right? They're going to show up, right? He's going to get his. Can he get more? That's the question. That is. But Nikki Haley would be interesting. And it would throw a curveball right to the Democrats and probably to the Republicans and everybody else and probably to Mike Pence because he would be the last one to know. Hey, Trump just tweeted, sucks you're not vice president anymore. Wait, what? Oh, shucks. It's possible. Not saying it's going to happen. Probably won't. But you never say never. Especially when it comes to Trump. Now, tomorrow night, They're all going to wander on stage. The first 10 will be wandering on stage. And here's the thing. How do you approach this if you are the Democrats and you're a Democrat running where groupthink, for all intents and purposes, is there? They're all, minus a few, are going to say the exact same thing over and over, right? So tomorrow night, night one, they'll all enter the stage. Then the cage will be around them.
Searching for your new home,
and then they're going to crush them. I don't know what's going to happen after that. You know, they're going to debate. How long? What are you going to get, like 30 seconds tomorrow? There's 10 people on stage. But you have to go big, right? I was telling the guys earlier, it's kind of like this right here is kind of like NFL preseason. Warren's a starter, right? You know, Bernie, starter. Biden, a starter, right? You've got a few that you're like, all right, they got a chance. They're starters. Everybody else is trying to make special teams. Some of them are going to get cut and back to regular jobs tomorrow. So the question is, how do you separate yourself? You got to go big. I mean, that's it, period. You have to stand out. And if you've learned anything, attacking Trump tomorrow night is a waste of time. It's a waste of time. We all know, all 20 of you that are on stage, and the 23 that are running total, the 3 or 4 or 5 or 8 extra now because everybody seems to be getting into it. The ones who are off stage, right? The reserves, the people who didn't dress, the healthy scratches. We all know you can't stand Trump, right? So you're not telling us anything new. So what you've got to do now is you got to go big. You got to go bold. You got to go strong. You got to separate yourself from the field. Trump realized, all right, if I want to run for president and be president, I got to beat these fools on stage before I have a chance to be the last one standing. So I got to separate myself. And that's what they need to do tomorrow. Somebody has got to make themselves stand out. Somebody does. Who's it going to be? So you got Cory Booker, de Blasio, Julian Castro, John Delaney. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. Tulsi Gabbard. Like her. I do. I like her a lot. Actually, I'm a fan of Tulsi Gabbard. Jay Inslee. Yeah, he just wants to talk about climate change. A couple of these people want to further their name. Some of them are hoping for cabinet positions. Some of them are hoping maybe, just maybe, they could get potentially a vice president call up. And some have real aspiration. Klobuchar, Inslee, no. Beto on life support, but opportunity. Tim Ryan. Yeah, no. Elizabeth Warren. She's your heavy hitter tomorrow. Cory Booker, right? Beto and Elizabeth Warren are the 3 big ones, but Elizabeth, by far and away, is absolutely, right, it. How do you separate? If you're Beto, this is your chance. You were shot out of a cannon. You were born to do this, said Vanity Fair in you. You were born to be this. Right? You Jack Kerouac it around the country. You're doing this and you're wearing flip-flops and jeans and puka shells and and everybody loves you in the whole 9 yards. And then everybody's like, well, hold on a second. He's all evil and white privilege. Then you spent the next 8 weeks of your campaign apologizing for things you didn't even do. And apologizing for your successes. But the one thing I've said about Beto is he's got some charisma. He's got some stage presence. And tomorrow night will be his one chance to really get himself on some serious footing. But Elizabeth Warren tomorrow night, this is her show. The second night is the night. Biden, Buttigieg, Sanders. Which person's going to surprise? I think Hickenlooper is going to surprise. And you know who else I think is going to surprise? Andrew Yang. I think both of them, while I'm not a big fan of Yang giving everybody $1,000, right? I mean, it is what it is. I like him. I think he's a good dude. I think the Hickenlooper will surprise, and you've got a chance. Swalwell, please. Kamala Harris is going to be, she's also a starter. Gillibrand Bennett. Who? Wait, what? Michael Bennett. I'm like, oh, my God, I loved you when you played for the Seahawks. Oh, different Michael Bennett. Marianne Williamson. What is she going to talk about? When I spoke with Oprah. It's just, that second night's the night, right? The first night is definitely, like, if you got your tickets to 2 nights, you're like, we could be really late to the first day, right? Like Coachella. Like, it's like, you know what? If we showed up at 5, we're okay, right? Like, but the second night, you're like, I want to get there for the whole day because all the bands I like are playing. So, what did you call it, producer Phil? Demchella? Demapalooza? Demchella. So, it's going to be interesting. But how do you separate? That's the big question. Who is it that steps up and says, you know what? I don't care about yelling at Trump. I'm going to tell everybody here how awful their idea is. And that's where I think somebody like Hickenlooper, right, and a few other people, like even Buttigieg, will separate themselves in the sense that they're not all about giving away free stuff. They're not into socialism. They're going to come out and have a very real way, I think, of addressing that core audience of Democrats, because whether people want to believe it or not, the majority of Democrats in this country are middle-of-the-road Democrats, right? That's the truth. They're not uber progressive. They're just middle-of-the-road Democrats. They don't hate Republicans. So I think Hickenlooper has a chance. And I'm a big fan of the Loop. I want to see what Tulsi Gabbard does. Cory Booker is going to have another Spartacus moment. Are you okay? I feel like you're not okay, Cory. Oh, my God. But if you sit there tomorrow night and you do not separate yourself, you do not do something that is, for all intents and purposes, something show busy and showcasey, that you can get out there and say, look at me. Look at what I'm able to do. Look how I'm completely different than everybody else up here. Because we know what 99% of them are going to say about medical care, college tuition, all of it. We know that, right? They're all the same. 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. How do you separate yourself? And that is going to be interesting. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us, still nastiness at the border when it comes to kids, and we've got to figure this out, and we got to do better, people.
So it wasn't just a few hours where the children were in these really horrific conditions, but they were there for so long that they were becoming ill from the conditions. There was a flu outbreak. There was also a lice infestation. And the children, most importantly, appeared to be traumatized by the experiences that they were having to sleep on concrete floors, having to defecate and urinate in toilets in front of one another, having guards yelling at them.
Yeah, it is not a good situation, and this is where we have really missed the mark tremendously when it comes to these kids. They don't need to be in these facilities. We've got to have a better plan. I'm embarrassed that we don't have a plan. Like, hey, look, here's the deal. We've got foster families that are going to take these kids immediately and make sure that they're in a situation where they're comfortable as they can be while all of this gets sorted out. And it's tough because you got kids coming here. They're coming here by themselves. You don't know who they are, what they're about. But we've got to figure this out. Toothpaste, necessities, give them the things that they actually need, and then give them the thing that we should be providing them, which is some sort of comfort in a scary and terrifying situation while we sort this mess out. Not this crap is just, this is a failure. This is an absolute breakdown and stupid. Got to do better. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Good night's sleep. My pillow. My pillow. I'll have a good night's sleep last night. Not the best night's sleep. No, I get a good night's sleep tonight. That I do promise. Didn't have my MyPillow with me. I'll have my MyPillow tonight. Here's what they're doing for my listeners. $34.99 per pillow. You're going to get 2 premium pillows, less than $70, 60-day money-back guarantee, free shipping. Doesn't get any better than that. You're trying something. You're putting it to the test. And if you don't like it, you send it back. You're going to love it, though. Right? And when you love it, you don't have to pay more. You just pay what you pay. It's that simple. So 2 premium pillows, $69.98. 60-day money-back guarantee. Same amazing pillows. It's the premium pillows. There's several different pillows. This is the top of the line. This is the premium pillow. You get a 10-year warranty on the pillow. Made in the U.S. of A. Machine washable and dryable. How do you get this? Simple. Go to mypillow.com. Use the promo code Benson. That's mypillow.com. Promo code Benson. Or call 800-983-4975. Promo code is Benson. Remember, 2 premium pillows, less than $70, 60-day money-back guarantee, free shipping. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
But Bernie Sanders is out today with a plan that will tax Wall Street trades. Pennies on the dollar, but it's a start to pay for, among other things, college debt and maybe free college down the road.
Well, look, don't bring up Bernie Sanders because that's a red flag in front of me because he's the enemy of every entrepreneur that's ever going to be born in this country and has been born in the past.
Bernard Marcus right there. He's the co-founder of this little company called Home Depot. Not a fan of Bernie at all. And it's interesting because you've got like the Soroses of the world and you've got the heir to the Disney. They're all coming out and saying, hey, we need a big wealth tax. We need this, that, and the other. And it's, you know what? Here's the beauty of this. You come out and you say, we need these things, knowing full well you'll figure out a way around it. Again, tax them at 100%. They'll figure out a way around it. And when it comes to wealth. And secondly, I think this is vitally important, is it's just easier to say, look, take 1%. I don't care. Take 2%. Just leave me alone. Stop blaming me for everything. And this is the class warfare that's going on right now. There's a super class warfare of, like the death tax. Bernie talks all the time about the Scandinavian countries, right? Like, oh, my God, we should be more like these countries. They don't have a minimum wage. Well, they have a strong union. They don't have a minimum wage, right? That's something, right? That he never talks about. They have school choice, which Cory Booker used to be totally for. Now he's totally against, right? Because you got to play the game with the unions. And oh, by the way, there's no death tax there. There's no death tax there. Got to get yours. Other people's money, baby. The stuff I'm giving away is free. Except for you, who's got to pay for my stuff. And we're going to go in deeper later on about the difference between Bernie's and his backup singers and their whole thing, Bernie and the girls, their backup singers, of their plan comparatively to Warren, who is at least, while I'm not a fan of Warren, has a plan where you can go, okay, that's at least a plan that's not as insane as this. Because this is insane. This is at least a plan that you go, all right, you've done some thought, you've done some homework. You're not trying to be Santa Claus or a genie trying to give, 3 wishes. But they love other people's money more than anything. They do. God, they just want to talk about greed, man. I'm so sick. Oh, Wall Street's greedy and this person over here is greedy and that person's greedy and everybody's greedy. And hey, I want some of yours. Give me some of yours. So I can give it to everybody else. But I definitely need yours. Go get yours. Even if you took it, that's the funny thing is, even if they came and took every penny from every wealthy person, well-to-do person, within a few years, they'd be back asking for more because they would have blown it. It's an addiction. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Tweet at us. Still want to talk about Farrah Fawcett. We'll do that in a little bit. You haven't mentioned Michael Jackson? No, I haven't. I don't want to either. I'm just letting you guys know that. Don't care that he died 10 years ago. Don't care. Burgess Owens spoke at the reparations hearing last week on the Hill. Joins us straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I support any opportunity for restorative justice, and that can come up all above in some instances. But I think there's a serious conversation happening in committee, and I hope continues to happen regarding reparations. But I guess it should be determined by all of us, and I can tell you at home, it is direct payment that people want to see.
Yeah, direct payment people want to see. Last week on the Hill, reparations was front and center for a lot of people. Joining us now, he's strong American, pro-American, former NFL player, author as well, Liberalism or How to Turn Good Men into Whiners, Weenies, and Wimps. Joining us now is Burgess Owens, and we appreciate you coming on today. Love taking time with you. That whole thing last week, here we are. It's not the first time we've had this, but it's front and center now in today's identity politics. And, I saw a lot of people come after you, people of color, the Democrats, they call you, Uncle Tom and all these kind of things. It's just crazy how we've gotten to this position.
Well, yeah, it is. And understand, the way I started off my testimony was I think, important. We are truly fighting for the heart and soul of our country. It's the Judeo-Christian values that we have been brought up with that made our country great, that allows every generation to see each other from inside out, not outside in, the way God wants to see us, or He sees us. And versus Marxists and socialists. Understand that this is not something new. This reparation began back in 2001, in the socialist and communist part of little things on campuses like Berkeley. So know that American people are not into reparation. We've paid the price. We have elected a Black America for 8 years. We've shown across the board there's no place in the world that have more success for Black Americans than here in this country. So we're past that. They're looking for 2020. How can they get their low information voters energized? How can they get those who believe in social justice or welfare that are not for our country? How can you get them energized? And this reparation is a way to do that. That's why they want to have a conversation, but they won't really get anything done with it.
You weren't the only Black American up there who was saying this is ridiculous. And again, I saw a lot of them getting attacked. And in the Black community, it is. I sit here and I look and I say to myself, okay, the Republicans have failed going out there and talking and doing the things they should. But when they look over, and it's been 50 plus years of Democratic rule, go across to any big city in America and nothing has changed. And in many cases, it's gotten worse.
And that's the point I made during the testimony, is if you look over the history, not just the last 50 years, you look back over the last 100 years since slavery, it's been a Democratic Party that's been at the very forefront of misery for the Black community. And what's happening now is Black Americans are waking up. I think the greatest present to us was President Obama, because he's such a lousy president. He got this idea of hope and change, and people left 8 years later with less hope and change. We're waking up. And we're no longer 93% bloc that's going to vote for Democrats because who they are. We're now beginning to think, ask questions, and those who are part of that party, like myself, are beginning to say very strongly, these guys have been nothing but a mess for our race. So because that's happening, that's why this whole thing of open borders has been such a big deal. They need to replace the black vote with folks or people coming out of that are not Americans, that don't believe and understand our country, but will vote for Democrats. So they use, abuse, and discard. That's what Democrats, that's what the leftists do, and that's what they're trying to do, again, with the black community.
Talking to Burgess Owens, former NFL player and author, Liberalism or How to Turn Good Men into Whiners, Weenies, and Wimps. It is funny when I continue to say the beauty of it is if today, and you know this better than anybody, Burgess, if today the Latino vote decided that they were going to go over to the Democrat, from the Democrat to the Republican side, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer would be down there with bricks building walls as fast as possible. In a lot of ways, it's about going after a voter block of the future.
And this is why you have to understand, when you think about the policies, the reason why my race, by the way, I just want to make a real quick point. During the 40s, 50s, and 60s, there's a black community that led our country in terms of the growth of the middle class, men matriculated from college, the percentage of men committed to marriage, percentage of entrepreneurs, all that was done within the black community. That has switched over because of policies. And so the left does policies that are based on developing misery as a political strategy. And you're absolutely right. If a Hispanic vote right now will be changing over, they would do everything they could to put up a wall to stop them from coming in, because it's all about their power. They're, in essence, the Democratic Party is a group of narcissists. They think about themselves only, not about the country, not about our flag, not about our communities, not about those who really depend on them. They think about their power, prestige, and profitability. And if we understand that's who they are, it's not going to change, by the way. The Democratic Party just seems to be a magnet for people like that. They elitists. It's been the history of their party. If we understand that, then as Americans, we need to recognize, to pull away. Let's look at our issues. Let's debate our issues, not let them bully us. And in the process of doing that, we'll become the great country that we designed by our founders to become.
Talking to Burgess Owens, former NFL player, author, Liberalism. Just a great book, or How to Turn Good Men into Whiners, Weenies, and Wimps. And you know what? To me, I look at this great country we have here. It's an amazing country, and I've been fortunate enough to lived in Europe off and on for well over a decade. And I look here and I see the possibilities and the opportunities. And how do we go in and start showing people, look, you're not a victim, you can be a victor, and there's ways to get yourself out of the inner city and out there in the world where we start passing on the knowledge and the know-how rather than just giving people, in a lot of cases, handouts, because as we all know, and you know this better than anybody, give a man a fish or teach a man to fish.
What a great question. And this is my mission. I think that our future is going to be with our kids, and particularly the invisible generation. I work with an organization called Second Youth for Chance, Second Chance for Youth.org. And it's all about what our country comes down to. Our country is about second chances. We have a Judeo-Christian values that are all about second chances. And if we allow those that the left has been throwing away, those kids that are coming out of the juvenile system that have not, 85% don't have fathers. They have not been taught about the flag. They never say a prayer. We teach them about hope. They can be the strongest advocates in our country because they will take that knowledge, they take those feelings of empathy and give it back and bring others like them out of it. So I believe that at the end of the day, it's going to be the next generation will become our greatest generation by helping them to understand the greatness of our country and going against the narrative of the leftists, the Marxists and socialists. We need to make sure we're teaching these kids by serving them. And we get that done as everything will work out. By the way, it's BurgessOwens.com. You go there, you see everything I'm doing, particularly with our young people. They're going to be our future. We need to invest in them, believe in them, and help them come aboard so they can advocate for our country.
You know, and I talk about this all the time on my show. Family, parents, fathers, being in kids' life is the most important thing. I'm so blessed right now that my son's sitting here with me. He's got time off school. He's here with me. We spend as much time talking. It's about having a real relationship and being there. And over the last 25, 30 years, men have been discarded in a lot of ways by society because we don't hurt somebody's feeling, Burgess. And so it's all about, a woman. But I remember Chris Rock said it was great. Yeah, you know what? You can raise a kid by yourself. You can also drive a car with your knees, but it's not a good idea. We have discarded men, and in many ways, men have done themselves a disservice. How do we get that back? Because that's something I think is so vital.
Well, we go back to what made my race so great during the first part of the 1900s. Booker T. Washington came out with 4 basic foundational formulas, and that is head, heart, hands, home. Head, education; heart, service and compassion; hands, industry and free enterprise; H, home is a family. And you just hit it on the head. We get our men back to our homes where they understand their roles to provide, protect, and guide. To have the kind of the time you'd have with your son right now is precious. I was fortunate to have the same kind of time with my dad. And it led me to believing not only can I accomplish things, but I'm here to make sure I serve, and I want to make sure that my dad would always know that I'm proud that I'm proud of his name. So we get back to that the basic ideas of what men can do for our families, for our wives, our daughters, and our sons. Then we're gonna be in good shape. So at the end of the day, that's what they destroyed. It's destroyed the family unit, and they destroyed our future for sure.
Absolutely. Talking to Burgess Owens, former NFL player, author, doing a lot of things. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you a few football questions. You look out there in the NFL and you look at what's going on with the CTE thing, and I'm sure you played with a lot of players in the past who have struggled with this. Any worry about that for you?
I was very fortunate. I was really blessed because we did come through a time when we were taught to lead with our head. That's pretty much what we did. We were taught to hit hard. And it's sad to see some of my old friends that are dealing with these issues. I've been really blessed, and I want to take those blessings and make sure I can use as much of my time, much of my energy, much of my wisdom to make sure I give back to this country, to my race, to my country, to my fellow Americans, and to our kids to make sure that they are hopeful, that this country will continue to give them the promises that we were given when we were coming through. So, now I've been very blessed, my friend, and I'm just thankful. I'm going to take advantage of that for sure.
Where do you keep your Super Bowl ring?
I keep it in a little drawer. My youngest daughter was always upset when I wouldn't wear it, particularly around her friends. So I've learned to when I'm around her friends, I make sure I put it on for sure. But it was back in the old days, the days of just win, baby, Raiders. And that's what our country comes down to, Dan. Just win, baby. Let's get it done. Let's fight against the socialist and Marxist ideas and get back to our values that made us the greatest thing since the history of mankind, for sure.
Well, I appreciate you coming on today. Always good having you. What are you up to now? What's the next big thing for you, and what you're going to be doing for everybody out there?
Go to BurgessOwens.com. My passion are our kids. Second Chance 4, the number 4 youth.com. That's where my mission will be for the rest of my life, to bring these kids, this individual generation, so they can be part of getting our country back. They can be the dads that you are right now with your son, being able to bring them to work and talk to them and know that you're a big part. We need to get our kids thinking that way again, so we can break the cycle of fatherless kids, for sure.
Right on. Burgess Owens right there, author of Liberalism or How to Turn Good Men into Whiners, Weenies, and Wimps, and, of course, NFL champion as well. Appreciate you coming on today, Burgess. You have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you soon.
All the best, my friend. Take care. Bye.
Thanks. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. Follow along with us. I know some of you are going to go, oh, my God, Burgess, why didn't you have Danny Glover on to talk about stuff like this? Because you know what? We ask everybody to come on the show, and we take who decides, yeah, we'll come on the show. And I mean that. Left, right. I've had so many people who tweet at people saying you should get this person on and to give the different perspective. That's great. We ask them all to come on. And guess what? There are some that say yes, and there are a lot that says no. Just pointing that out. Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
Yeah, so 7-Eleven is going to start delivering Slurpees. How lazy are we? Yeah, I'd like you to come over. Bring me a Slurpee. Maybe if you can, you could hold it for me while I drink it. I don't feel like getting up. I don't know why my health's not very good. But they launched a delivery service on Monday that will send a Slurpee or almost anything else carried by the chain to public places ranging from park to beaches. So that's good, right? So they're doing essentially the same thing that Domino's has tried. Here's my 2 cents of business. At some point in time, stay in your lane. Does that make sense? Like, stay in the lane you're in. We deliver to houses, right? It's okay, you know. It's like I look at this and I'm like, do we really need? Like, does it benefit you at all? Outside of people like us joking about it, does it really benefit the fact that I can now get a Slurpee in Central Park or Venice Beach or wherever? Like, does that benefit you that much? Right? I just don't think it does, but this is the world we live in now. We'd like you to bring it to me, yes, if you could. And again, feed it to me. If at all possible, that'd be super. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Women's national team's playing on Friday against France, the host of the Women's World Cup.
What am I not looking forward to? This is what we've been looking forward to for so long, ever since the groups are named and everyone started talking about that epic quarterfinal matchup. That should be a final matchup, and here it is. So we've been looking forward to this. Obviously, been waiting patiently and getting the work done in the group stage and the round of 16 and now we have, this epic clash in a quarterfinal match.
Epic clash. Now, if they win the World Cup, right? Like everybody, this bizarre situation where we feel that we have to go to the White House. Megan Rapinoe, who does not stand for she stands for the anthem. She won't put her heart over it. She'll never sing it again, the whole 9 yards, until everything's equal, blah, blah, blah. We know how that goes. She has said she will not effing go to the White House. We're not going to be invited. I doubt it. You don't know that. right? And don't go. I mean, look, this is the way I look at it. Like, I wasn't a fan of Obama's policies, but damn Skippy had been there if I would have won something he invited me. Hell yeah. I respect the office. Respect what it is. It's not about you. It's about the country. Now, I get the fact that you don't like Trump. I get that. I got no problem with that. But you don't want to go, then don't go. That's just the way it is. I still think it's weird that we go to the White House. And by the way, Tim Thomas was the first. I remember when he was the goalie for the Boston Bruins. And a huge conservative refused to go meet with Obama for whatever reason. I thought that was, but that's the beauty of it. It's like, if you don't want to go, great. We're not going to shoot you. This isn't like North Korea. This isn't like, Libya where you lose a game and then afterwards we break your feet and the whole 9 yards in the Olympics. It's not like that. And you have the right to say, I don't want to effing go to the White House. Right? Like, there you go. I would just go for the historical side of it. You don't have to like the president. Right? Do you think that everybody that goes to the White House is a supporter of that president, no matter who that president is? No. Silly. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I'd totally go, though. I got no problem. I don't care who it is. It's like, wait, free? And first of all, if you like McDonald's, right, and you like fast food, you're going to be served up quite the dish at the White House. I'm just throwing it out there.
Once upon a time, there were 3 little girls who went to the police academy. And they were each assigned very hazardous duties. But I took them away from all that, and now they work for me.
Aww.
My name is Charlie.
And those were his angels, right? Jacqueline Smith, right? You had Kate, you had Farrah. Oh, my God. They were awesome. When you listen to that in this woke world, you listen to that. Oh, there were 3 little girls. Oh, but I tweeted out something early today, and I've been getting hammered by several people who are extremely woke over the fact that as a young, kid, I had a poster of Farrah Fawcett on my wall. And on the death of her anniversary, I remind everybody how awesome she was, and I'm not going to give, any kind of love or commemorance to the other person who died 10 years ago, because I think he was the king of molesting rather than the king of pop. All right? So there you go. Therein lies that. And I don't care. And I want everybody to stop ruining everybody else's memories when it comes to things like, for instance, Farrah Fawcett. Get over yourself. It's not that serious. Again, nobody got hurt in any kind of crime because nothing was committed. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Attorney Warren Binford tells ABC News she met with young children at that Clint, Texas facility who were left to care for each other, soiled and dirty, without enough food or water.
Many of the children were sick, especially the young children.
In a statement, Customs and Border Protection tells us they have limited resources, but are working to provide the best care possible for those in our custody, especially children.
Yeah. I'm going to say this right now. We got to do better. We are sucking. Sending these kids back to deplorable conditions is absolutely not who we are. Not who we are. We need to stand up and we need to demand, look, guys, you guys don't want to get your head out of your ass. You want to play this game where you're running around talking about all the things you're going to do and how the other side's bad, blah, 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 blah. Do it on your own time. Fix this because this is our time, right? Mr. Hand, right? Jeff Spicoli? Well, you're here and I'm here. That makes it our time. Well, right now you're here and I'm here. That makes it our time. So you do it the way it should be done. Sort this mess out when it comes to the kids. And then you guys can go back to playing grab ass in front of the cameras. All right? How bad is it right now? Well, it's this bad.
John Sanders' resignation coming a short time after U.S. Customs and Border Protection made it known that over 100 children have been sent back to a Border Patrol detention center in Texas where there have been allegations of inhumane treatment of children. That was reported, and then employees at Customs and Border Protection got an email from Sanders announcing he is resigning effective July 5th. In that letter obtained by ABC News, Sanders reflects on his short time running the agency.
Yeah. He's out. Frustrated. Says he's going to keep fighting, but I think he's frustrated. And it's funny because when I go down to the border, right, no matter where I've been, to Tucson, to Yuma, down to San Diego, McAllen, Texas, with our affiliate out there, KURV, no matter how many times I go and talk to them, they all say the same thing. Their frustration lies in the bureaucracy. And by the way, 99.9% of the customs officers, both the men and women, have empathy and understanding for what's going on and why these people are coming here. But they also are frustrated because their hands are tied by bureaucracy in some cases and political BS in a lot of cases. Enough is enough. And when it comes to this, let's all get our heads out of our butts, figure out what we can do. What do they need? Let's get it done. It shouldn't be that hard. But it is. Because it's much easier to run in front of the camera and say the Democrats are at fault, or it's much easier to run in front of the camera and say this is all Trump's fault that these kids don't have the necessities like toothbrush and diapers and stuff. It's so much easier to do that than saying, hell, let's just put it, we waste enough money. Let's put it on a credit card. Let's get it sorted out at this point in time. And if we have to bring in some kids and some preschool teachers and some minders, we'll turn it into a damn summer camp at this moment in time until we can sort this out. But enough is enough. Because I'm at the point now where I'm sitting here thinking, I have never been so infuriated when it comes to one single topic as it is with immigration. Most of us want the same thing, right? We want to have empathy. We want to have an easier opportunity for some people to come here. We want the bad people to be thrown out. We want a lot of the same things. We may differ on the way and the path that we want to get there, but we do want a lot of the same things. But this is a joke. And this is going to be a huge thing. And Trump played it up in his last election, and it got him to the White House. And the Democrats are going to use that against him by how evil he's been as far as they're concerned, from concentration camps to neglect of children and so many other things against him. The politics is just too good to pass up. Enough. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. You can tweet at us. I found this to be interesting. It's an op-ed in, I believe it's the Wall Street Journal. His name's Andrew Stein. And he's a Democrat, was a politician, and he was Democrat for Trump, by the way. And he made something that, look, I've been screaming for this since the moment she said, yeah, I'm out of here. That I thought this is what he needs to do if he really wants an opportunity at a second chance where I believe he could easily. I still think at this moment in time, I don't see anybody beating him, but things are going to change. But this right here, to me, is a no-brainer.
So why do you say Nikki Haley on the ticket?
Well, because with Nikki Haley on the ticket with Trump, it's an unbeatable ticket. I think Vice President Pence served the president very well in 2016, and as vice president, I have nothing against him. I think he was a loyal vice president and a very capable man. But I think the president's reelection will hinge to a large extent on whether he can win over those independent and Republican suburban women. And I think with Nikki Haley on the ticket, it's an unbeatable.
I've been saying that for a long time. He got everything he needed out of Mike Pence. And let's be real. Mike Pence he's at times a gaffe machine. He's stiff. He's the exact opposite of what Trump is, and I think he needs something else a little bit more dynamic that's going to be a kick in the pants. And I think and I've always thought, I mean, look, I thought she would have been a hell of a vice president running mate in the last one, and I talked about that, right? I did. Just like I talked about the fact that the first thing Trump needs to do is to get Newt Gingrich on staff, because you need somebody who has an understanding of Washington, whether you like Newt or not, and how to maneuver in and around Washington. But he's kind of done everything on in his own way, and that's who he is. But could I say, this is the thing, this is a Trumpian move, and again, it's an op-ed piece, but it's a super Trumpian move to say, you know what, let's do this. Let's do this.
You think that, President Trump has been accused by, I think the count is 16 women, variety of accusations ranging from sexual harassment to, much worse than that, as we've seen recently. And so I'm just wondering, and also in terms of his policies, include family separations at the border, failing to protect equal pay. But despite all of that, do you think these women will come to him just because he puts a woman on his ticket?
Not just a woman. A woman, by the way, who has a big career in politics ahead of her if she wants it. A woman, by the way, who could potentially, look, he even talked about the fact that Pence can really be president if he wants to do it. He didn't seem thrilled by that. But if you want to keep your team in power, if you want to keep your team in the lead, if you want to keep your team on top of that mountain, you look for the future. Mike's not the future. He's not. Nikki Haley is. And I think to myself, you put her on there, opportunity abounds for the potential of 2024 if he wins another election. And she says, I want to run for president.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think, yes, I do. And I think, by the way, he's got a good record with women. The employment numbers show there are more women working now than have ever been in the last 60 years. So women are working, they have jobs, and they're doing well.
But Andrew, isn't that kind of sexist to suggest that just because there's a woman on the ticket, then that means women will vote for him?
Really? Because I think that that last lady who ran continues to tell everybody that the reason she didn't win is because she's a woman. And all I hear from the left side of the aisle is identity politics. Identity politics. Identity politics. Identity politics. How is that sexist? If you don't win, it's sexist. If you do win, it's sexist because she was on the ticket. It's a no-winning situation.
I don't think Nikki Haley is just a woman. I think she's incredibly capable, both as governor and as a representative at the UN. She's got experience on the state level, on the national level.
I don't doubt any of that. I'm just saying, for someone to think that just because you put a woman in a position means all the other women are going to vote for you could be perceived as sexist.
Well, I don't know. All I can say is that if he puts Nikki on the ticket, he'll win.
Yeah. Could be perceived as sexist. Really? Well, then why did the last lady say vote for me because I'm a woman? Right? That's just, come on. Stupid. I think she's young, she's energetic, and if you're looking to the future, guess what? The future's now. It's right in front of you. And she left. And she left in good standing. And she's got a good respect amongst the media. So, I think, it would be great. And that is such a Trumpian thing. Because the left will be like, but they wouldn't even know what to hit him. Which is what he likes to do. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson shows your Twitter. You can tweet us. By the way, Amazon Prime Day is July 15th and 16th. So it was 24 hours at one time. Then last year was 36 hours. They've decided to make it 2 straight days. 48 hours of Amazon Prime stuff. That is insane. And I hate it because Amazon. I read a great piece today about, the Democrats scream and yell about why doesn't Amazon pay any taxes? And they fired back the other day at Biden and said, look, we paid $2.8 billion in taxes. And they showed the years they paid taxes. They said, but on top of that, the stuff that you've put in there in this bipartisan legislation in the tax code because you want companies to do this. We've invested $220 billion back into research and development, which is what you want us to do. We've created so many jobs because of that. And it's this weird world of we want to hate you, but you're doing everything that we've asked you to do in a bipartisan way. But we kind of want to hate you. And I keep saying, it's like, you're not angry at the companies. You're angry at the tax code. And that tax code, for all intents and purposes, is a tax code that works because you want companies to reinvest in their companies. You want companies to have opportunities out there to be able to write down their losses. Because when Amazon and Lyft and Uber, think about this, they're losing money right now, Lyft and Uber, like you cannot believe. And eventually there's a chance they're going to become profitable. And people will get mad. Yeah, but they're losing a ton of money right now. You don't care about that. You're mad at the tax code. You're mad at what people make. You're mad at this, that, and the other. I can't keep up with why you're angry at stuff. Well, it's not fair that they don't pay this. They're paying what they're supposed to pay based on the rules that you've set out for them. Those rules, which again, are supported, bipartisan support across the board because of what you want. You want people to reinvest in the company. You want R&D. You want growth. That don't come cheap. If you take all those things away, people will then start to go Scrooge McDuck and squirrel away their profits and not reinvest. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us your love, your hate. 10 years ago today, Farrah Fawcett died. Michael Jackson died too, but I don't care about that. And I talked about it today, and people got mad at me. Some ladies out there got mad at me. Like, oh, that's awful. How could you sexualize Farrah Fawcett? I'm like, excuse me? I was like, am I the only one? Because I feel like I'm not the only one. I feel like she was a sex symbol. The 70s was sex symbol time, and she was one of those. I'm just saying. Speaking of that, Roman is amazing. Guys, we're horrible at going out, getting ourselves looked after, checked, whatever it is, right? We got a boo-boo. We don't take care of it. Back hurts. We'll be fine. Last night I was playing soccer with a guy who the week before I wasn't there. He got knocked out cold and hurt his knee, and he was back out there, and he never got it checked. Silly. You know, the same thing goes for ED, erectile dysfunction. We don't get it checked. Ego, don't want to go to the pharmacy, don't want to have the awkward face-to-face. Don't worry about that. Roman came along, changed everything. Go to GetRoman.com/Benson. All you do is fill out a complete dynamic form. You chat with a licensed U.S. physician, and right there from the comfort of your own home, you can have everything taken care of, and they'll even ship the medication in unmarked packaging directly to it. And guess what? The visit is free right now. Go to GetRoman.com/Benson. That's GetRoman.com/Benson. GetRoman.com/Benson. Chad Benson Show.
No need to fear. We promise we won't give you a noogie and make you cry Russia, Russia, Russia.
Who is the fearless leader?
Fui.
Fui, fui, and double fui.
What is your language? This is a family show, remember?
Fui to family too.
Nostrovia. This is Chad Benson.
January 27, the president called FBI Director James Comey and invited him to dinner that evening.
Priebus recalled that before the dinner, he told the president something like, "Don't talk about Russia, whatever you do."
And the president promised he would not talk about Russia at the dinner.
Don McGahn, White House counsel, had previously advised the president that he should not communicate directly with the Department of Justice to avoid the perception or reality of political interference in law enforcement.
That right there is a bunch of celebrities reading the Mueller Report. And I thought to myself, what if obscure, bizarre celebrities would read it? Take, for instance, the Crypt Keeper. Oh, yeah. Yeah, remember him? The Crypt Keeper? IRA employees also traveled to the United States of intelligence gathering missions. June 2014. 4 IRA employees applied to the United States Department to enter the United States while lying about their purpose. Oh. See? Far more entertaining. Far more entertaining. You know, they just should have walk-in friends. It's dozens of people, employees, responsible. Hey, Harry Carey. Hey, kids, it's me, Harry. The IRA. The era. What's that about? Who likes baseball and Budweiser? It's so much more entertaining. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson. Show us your Twitter. Feel free to Twitter patter us. By the way, we're still not at war with Iran, just in case you guys were worried. We're not. I don't foresee us going to war anytime soon, but I wonder if that's going to be talked about tomorrow night. What would you do in a situation like this? Well, the first thing I do is I'd get back into the Iran agreement with Iran and get back into the climate agreement and do anything that anybody asked us to do, even if it means it could potentially harm our economy and the people here that we care about so much, because that's what we are. We're woke. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Forget about free college for everybody. I'm also going to wipe out all of the debt today. Very big, too expensive. Defend.
Chris, there's a crisis going on, and most people in the elite world don't see it. The crisis is afflicting working families all over America. Mm-hmm. If you think about the fact that people in this generation are going to have a worse standard of living than their parents, that's a sense of fear. As a parent myself, thinking about my child might have a worse life than me is a crisis.
They're not going to have a worse life than you. They're not. They're not going to have a worse life than you because you've built up assets, and over time, eventually, they'll find their footing, and guess what? You'll pass on. You'll probably pass it on to your kids. They're not going to have a worse life than you. Is it a little bit different than we went through? They're navigating in a different way? Yes. Wiping out debt, saying, hey, no responsibility. And yesterday, everybody's like, I got a bunch of people, even now, tweeting it. Chad, you should understand, you explained the whole thing, and we bailed out the big banks. You guys even get this? 40%, 39%, let's be 100%, 39% of the debt that would be wiped out would be what? Graduate school. Lawyers, MBA, doctors, they're okay. They're handling it, right? They knew what they were getting into. So the people you're claiming to help, the little people, they're also saying, well, wait a minute, you're wiping out all this, you should wipe out ours. So we're going to wipe out yours. So no responsibility. You guys have all been taken advantage of. Right? Because somebody forced you to go to college. Because we've sold a bunch of kids a bill of goods about college that is ridiculous. Never addressing the root problem of all of this. Never once. The one thing about Warren's plan is at least it's not, look, I may not agree with it. Right? I may not agree with it at all. But at least it's coherent. Bernie's plan with AOC and Tlaib and Ilhan Omar is literally the genie. We're going to give you everything. We're just going to wipe it all out. Never addressing the problem and where the future goes, because eventually I think, again, what Bernie would really ultimately like is more and more government control over industries. Doesn't want to tell you that because it makes people uncomfortable. Warren's plan is like, look, you make under 100 grand. Right, you're going to pay. You're going to get rid of $50,000 of your debt. 100 to 250,000. We're going to wipe away X amount of dollars in debt, and then it goes up from there. Right? At least there's some. And she wants to, which I don't think is constitutional. Everything's about a wealth tax. You can't double tax money, but that's the kind of thing that she would like to do. Where Bernie's like, we're going to go after Wall Street. We're going to do this, and this, and never understanding by doing this what the potential could be for Wall Street itself.
But is it two wrongs making a right? We bailed out Wall Street, arguably. The senator certainly thinks we did it in the wrong way. So does Elizabeth Warren. However, is this also a wrong? You know, the loans for the government, they took them over in 2010. It's the biggest asset on their balance sheet. So not only would you be forgiving the debt, you'd be taking away the largest asset of the United States government.
Well, that's no big deal, right? Because you would just print more money. It's ridiculous to think about that. So you want to take over this and get rid of the largest asset on our balance sheet. Then you want to take over healthcare and give it away free and give nobody options, right? Because everybody's got to fall into the same thing. So the way that you want to go about doing things is the thing that scares people. Again, Elizabeth Warren, everybody talks about the bailouts of banks. I wouldn't have bailed the banks out, right? I wouldn't have. But at the same time, you know what I wouldn't have done? I wouldn't have given so many people loans that should never have gotten loans. I would never have done that. Everybody was a bit culpable in this. We forget about the fact that there were tons of people who got loans who had no chance, no stated income, making $12 an hour with their friends, and they're buying a $500,000 house that they could never afford. But they thought the market was hot and they'll flip it and make some money and go from there. Yeah. Everybody was culpable. Here's the thing. Banks paid the money back with interest. Nobody ever brings up. Right, they always talk about Wall Street.
When Donald Trump passed a corporate tax cut, do you know how much that cost? Do people even know? We're talking about over $2 trillion. Yeah. And then, by the way, when we saved Wall Street, how much did that cost? Tens of trillions of dollars. Now we're talking about $1.6 trillion to alleviate student debt, and suddenly, oh my God, Faz, that sounds crazy. Because
they're all
crazy.
Troubling, Faz.
I mean,
they're all troubling. What you did
again?
with the Wall Street bailout, there was a justification argument. With the president, with his tax plan, there was a justification argument that hasn't been borne out by the deficit. And now you're trying to do something ambitious, but you got to justify it.
According to several, right? Like you go to Mother Jones, it was tens of trillions of dollars, but you go to real people who are like, how much Wall Street was? It was $700 billion. TARP to bail out banks. Nobody ever talks about the auto industry. We bailed them out too, right? And by the way, we lost money on that deal. We didn't get the money back. I want to find out why school is so, that's right, because we guarantee loans. So you can, at that point in time, much like the insurance industry, you just write down whatever you want because the government's going to back you. Enough. Let's get to the root cause of it all. Let's find out why it's so ridiculous to go to school. Let's take a look at all of these things that need to be taken a look at in a long term. Because we wipe out the $1.6 trillion, which are probably closer to $2 trillion. We wipe that out. We take that off the books as our biggest asset. On top of that, we still haven't addressed why it's so expensive, and we're going to continue to give people free opportunities. So you're taking away 20% of our quote-unquote economy that you're going to run through the government with the medical, and now you want to wipe this out. Anything else? Well, yeah, there's a lot else. I'm sure there is. We need to figure out what to do. Free college, free housing, free cash, free jobs, lots of free. Somebody's paying for free, and eventually you will run out of other people's money. Then what? That's a fair question. When you look around the country and see the states that are bleeding residents right now, hemorrhaging, New Jersey, New York, California, Illinois. Why is that? Because they're sick and tired of paying, and they're looking for somewhere else. Who's getting it? Washington State, Florida, Texas. That's who's winning. Arizona. It's frustrating. There's ways that we can have a little bit of both. Doesn't have to be all or nothing. But come on, let's get our heads out of our butts. At least Warren has a plan that, again, while constitutionally may not, double taxation and the whole wealth tax thing, at least she's not wiping everybody's debt. And she's saying, all right, here's a plan that's at least somewhat you can go, okay, while I don't agree with it, it's at least feasible. The genie over here, right? And his backup singers, no. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. It's backup singers. Chad, you're so wrong. You're such a jerk. So this I found to be interesting. So we live in a world of wokeness, as we all know, right? Like everybody likes to get woke, right? Like today I'm in trouble because I posted something about Farrah Fawcett and how sexy she was and, you're objectifying her and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, because she enjoyed the objectification in the sense that this is what she wanted. I mean, she sold posters of her sexiness, right? Like Pamela Anderson knows what her assets are and how she goes about doing them, and she's been smart with them, right? David Beckham was a good ball player. He played soccer well. Was he one of the all-time greats? No. Did his aura about who he was outshine how good he actually was? Oh, yeah, big time. And he's used it. No problem with that. Use your sexiness. Again, if I look like Ronaldo or David Beckham or anything, I wouldn't wear a shirt at all. But I don't. People come after me because we live in a work world, a world of insanity, and never has it been more apparent than what took place in Harvard. So you got a dean there, Ronald Sullivan. Now, this is a guy who was a faculty dean of Winthrop House. Oh, very, very nice. So student activists complained because he made the decision he was going to represent Harvey Weinstein. Now, remember, this is Harvard Law School. These kids are going to school to study law. What are we guaranteed? Oh, representation. But they don't care because they decided it was an unsafe place for women. So he wrote this, and eventually he was asked out. Got to go. You and your wife, right? You and your wife, you guys got to go. You're bad, blah, 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 blah. He wrote a great op-ed piece in the New York Times. And he said, look, I'm willing to believe that some students felt unsafe because that was the big thing, right? Everybody's unsafe. But feelings alone should not drive university policy. Administrators must help students distinguish between feelings that have a rational basis and those that do not. In my case, Harvard missed an opportunity to help students do that. I wish I could say that Harvard's response in these matters is unique in higher education. Unfortunately, many universities have failed in this regard of late. Unchecked emotion, very, very real, has replaced thought, reasoning as well on campus. Feelings are no longer subject to evidence, analysis, and empirical defense. Angry demands rather than rigorous arguments now appear to guide university policy. This must change. Until then, universities are doing a profound disservice to those who place their trust in us to educate them. That's true. Feelings now matter far more than facts ever will. We don't care about your facts because feelings are here. And if somebody's feelings can be hurt, even if it's the truth, we will take a lie to spare somebody's feelings. Nobody was unsafe. At no time did I think, or anybody really, honestly thought to themselves, well, he could bring Harvey on here and he could probably sexually assault a bunch of women. Or, hey, maybe Dean Sullivan's going to sexually assault a bunch of women because he's hanging out with Harvey. Maybe. I don't know. That's the stupidity. The rationale. And these are going to be lawyers of the future. Good God. Feelings over facts is not good. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shoe is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Of course, the fight is going on with Trump and all of immigration, and the battle's big. And today, a little bit of a blow when it comes to Customs, Border, and Protection.
As details surface about alleged inhumane conditions at detention centers holding children along the border, acting head of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, John Sanders, is resigning. In a letter obtained by ABC News and sent to agency employees, Sanders says he will never stop defending the people and the mission, and that helping support the men and women of the agency has been the most fulfilling and satisfying opportunity of his career.
Yep,
but Sanders does not say why he's leaving.
Well, I think he knows why. The pressure is ridiculous. And I think at some point in time, you just realize the bureaucracy, you're not going to get the tools you need for the job. The laws and the way that they do policy and politics is going to override anything you do. So you are essentially having to take a Dixie cup to bail out a ship that's sinking and breaking into 3 parts. You're not going to do it. And eventually you put up the good fight and you say, I've had enough. I've had enough. And I'm getting blamed for things that are beyond my control. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. For those of you out there who like personal responsibility, you look around and you say to yourself, I've got credit cards. I got a bunch of bills. I want to get them paid down. What's the best thing that I can do? Lightstream is. That's right. Right now, your credit cards, you're looking around, you're like 19% is the average APR. But with Lightstream, they offer credit card consolidations loans from as low as 5.95% APR with auto pay. And for my listeners out there, that's you guys. You guys get credit. Life's pretty good, but you want to get these things paid off. Guess what? They're going to give you an additional interest rate discount. Now, I want you to check it out. Go to lightstream.com/Benson. That's lightstream.com/Benson. Subject to credit. Approval rate includes 0.50% auto pay discount. Terms and conditions apply. Offer is subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Benson for more information. This is Chad Benson Shoe.
Take a fake news break. Check out the really important news of the day at our website, ChadBensonShow.com. Once there, click on Chad's free podcast and get real. The Chad Benson Show, where truth and the American way live. Print free.
The FTC is poised to announce Operation Call It Quits, which the commission says is a multi-agency crackdown on telemarketers responsible for more than 1 billion robocalls. The FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection Director Andrew Smith is set to join Indiana's Attorney General Curtis Hill to announce details on the operation this morning.
Details. Can we just get rid of robocall? And the robo-text now I'm starting to get as well. I'm getting a bunch of text messages. And no, I don't want to see your private pictures. And no, you do not have a job that pays $30,000 a week. All right? So stop. Shibbity cricket. Oh, I've gotten 3 phone calls since the show started. 3 phone calls since the show started. Of what? I'll go check them. Hey, you missed a call. Don't worry. If you want to earn $50 quadrillion a day, press 1. No, I don't. Stop it. Drives me crazy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. The battle is on for the hearts and minds of voters, but not actually to fix anything as we continue to talk about immigration and the failure of our government, both right and left, to address any of this. But never let it be said that politics should go to waste when you have a chance to come out and evoke emotion.
These are God's children. These are children who are being held without adequate food. These are children who are being held without adequate medicine.
Hakeem Jeffries, it's not over. It's not over.
There is no soap. There is no diapers. Above all else, there is no human decency.
He's right. We're failing tremendously. But rather than all get together and go, hey, let's sort this thing out. Worst case, let's pass a clean bill or something that needs to get done so we can get some money to the people that need it so we can handle this thing at this moment in time and try to come up with something bigger. Instead, they're going to run to the microphone and look at each other and go, you're just awful. And the other side's going to go, it's your fault. And it's, no, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. Boobs. Never getting anything done. We had kids down there who are struggling. We had kids on the border who are confused, and they talk about they're not separated. Their family, in many cases, separated them by sending them here as a lost leader, and that's frustrating as hell. But let's take care of them as we should be taking care of them, as opposed to what's going on right now, which is the battle of politics in the hearts and minds of voters, but not actually getting anything done. Just that simple. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us for all of you out there who also had a Farrah Fawcett poster, maybe Daisy Dukes, Tawny Katane, any of them. You know what? Smile. And Farrah, rest in peace. 10 years ago, Farrah Fawcett passed away. So did that other guy, but I don't really care about him. Your useless fact today, according to the American Public Power Association, the number one cause of power outage in the United States of America is squirrels. Have a good rest of your day. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.